2 or minus 10 and 2, or it could be minus 5 and 4, or it could be 5 and minus 4. Could be any one of them. You're looking for 8. You're looking for 8, you're looking for minus 8. You're looking for minus 8, and then I'm sure you're spotting that there. So you got that x and x, and you got minus 10 and 2, and then that gives you minus 10x, that gives you plus 2x, add them up, you get minus 8x. So the top 2 goes in one bracket, so that's x minus 10. The bottom 2 goes in one bracket, that's x plus 2. And then x minus 10 is equal to 0, or x plus 2 is equal to 0. X is equal to 10, or in this case, x is equal to minus 2. Right, so that was the answer for number 3. On quadratic equations, now we have to solve quadratic equations by formula. Now let's take an example. See, here's an example. X squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. Now, this example can be solved by factorization. X squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. X minus, let's make it easier. X squared plus 5x plus 6, that's better. X squared plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. Easy example. Now it can be solved by factorization. X plus 2 into x plus 3 is equal to 0. You factorize that. So x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0, x is equal to minus 2, or x is equal to minus 3. So here's an example, and you have solved it using factorization. Now what we're saying to you is that, look, this same example can be solved using a formula. We can solve this example using a formula. We know the answer is minus 2, minus 3. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on that half of the board, and I'm going to use the formula, and we're going to solve this problem using the formula. So firstly, let me give you the formula. Or better still, let me write the formula big and bold. See, the formula is like this. X is equal to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that's your formula. Minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, the moment you look at the formula, you realize why we learned earlier on to identify A, B, and C, because if you're using the formula, you need it. Now, obviously, you won't use a formula on an easy example like this because it is easier to do it by factorization. But I'm going to do this using the formula just to show you that it is a correct formula and it will give you the same answers. So let's try to solve that. If we're solving that using the formula, first we'll have to identify A, B, and C. So the question is x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Therefore, A is, that's A. That's B. And that's C. So we have identified A, B, and C. So if you use the formula, x is equal to minus, I'm substituting that formula, minus into b. B is 5. Plus minus the square root of b squared. B is 5. 5 squared minus 4 into A into C. Now what is A? A is 1. What is C? C is 6 all over 2 into a, which is 1. Now it's just a matter of simplifying. So you got minus 5 plus minus b squared is 25. 4 times 1 times 6 minus 24 all over 2 times 1, 2. That gives you minus 5 plus minus the square root of 25 minus 24 is 1 all over 2, which gives you minus 5 plus minus 1 plus minus. Square root of 1 is 1 all over 2. So now you see there's a plus minus sign there. So x is equal to minus 5 plus that 1 all over 2. Or x is equal to minus 5 minus that 1 all over 2. I'll repeat that step. See, up to here it's pretty easy. Now when it comes to x is equal to minus 5 plus 1 over 2. So you're taking the top sign, you see. Or x is equal to minus 5 minus 1 over 2. And when you put this in your calculator, minus 5 plus 1 all over 2, you will end up with the answer minus 2. When you put that in your calculator, you will end up with the answer minus 3. So you can see that when you did it by factorization, you got minus 2, minus 3. When you're doing it by the formula, you're also getting minus 2, minus 3. So that is the formula, and that is how it works. And obviously, you will use the formula when you can't factorize. If I can factorize, I won't use the formula, I'll just go for factorization. But if I can't factorize, I'm going to use the formula. Alright, so that's the formula. X is equal to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Alright, so I'm going to do a few examples using the formula, and then I'll give you a little exercise to apply the formula. Okay, so here we have an example. Solve x squared minus x minus 4 is equal to 0. Now if you try to factorize this example, it's not going to factorize. You can try as much as you like, you're not going to find the factors. So there are numbers that can make this equation true. So what we have to do, we have to use the formula. So what does the formula say? Formula says x is equal to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And then we have to identify a, b and c. Well, in this example, a is 1, it's understood. B is minus 1 and c is minus 4. So let's write that down. In this example, a is 1, b is minus 1 and c is minus 4. Alright, so we have identified a, we have identified b, we have identified c. It's better to write it down like this. A is 1, b is minus 1 and c is minus 4. So I've written it down. Or if you want, you can write it just below the example. It might be even better if you wrote that just below the example. Let's do it like that. What is a? A is 1. What is b? B is minus 1. What is c? C is minus 4. So you identified a, b and c. Now write down the formula. X is equal to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, now you're substituting. Now my advice to you, if you're substituting for b, write down the minus sign here. Open the bracket like this. put on the square root sign, open the bracket like that, minus 4, open a bracket for A, open a bracket for C. I am suggesting you open your brackets like that. And then you've got 2 times A. Right, here we're going to put in B. B is minus 1. Here we're going to put in B. B is minus 1. Here we're going to put in A. This is A. A is 1. Here we're going to put in C. C is minus 4. Here we're going to put in A. A is 1. So do your substitution very carefully, do it step by step. Now watch, minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. Plus minus the square root of. Minus 1 squared means minus 1 times minus 1, which is 1. Minus times minus, well, you can put this in your calculator straight through and you will get 4 4s, 16. Right? Minus 4 times 1 times minus 4 and you'll get 16 on the calculator. All over 2 ones, 2. Now, that's plus 1 plus minus the square root of 17 all over 2. Now you'll notice, I don't have to write this plus 1, so I can just write 1. 1 plus minus the square root of 17 all over 2. Now, read the question carefully. Let's say this question said, leave answer in third form. Let's say that's what the question said. Leave answer in third form. Third form means you just leave it like that in square root form. So, what are the two answers? X is equal to 1 plus the square root of 17 all over 2. Or X is equal to 1 minus the square root of 17 all over 2. So it's 1 plus the square root of 17 all over 2, or 1 minus the square root of 17 all over 2. So that's your two answers, provided that the question said leave your answer in third form. Alright, so that's solving a quadratic equation using formula. Right, here we have another example, and if you try to factorize this example, you're going to have a problem because you cannot factorize it. So you'll identify A, B and C. A is 3, B is minus 5, B is minus 5, and C is 3. Now remember, when you want to work out A, B and C, the equation must be in standard form. So the equation is in standard form. A is 3, B is minus 5, C is 3. Use the formula. There's your formula. B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So there's your minus into B, plus minus the square root of B squared minus 4 into A into C all over 2 into A. Right, so what is B? B is minus 5. That B is minus 5. What is A? A is 3. What is C? C is also 3. What is A? A is 3. So, the minus times minus gives you plus, so you got plus 5 plus minus the square root of. Minus 5 squared is 25, minus 4 3 is 12, 3 is 36, all over 2 3s, 6. 5 plus minus. 25 minus 36 gives you minus 11. 25 minus 36 gives you minus 11. All over 6. So once again you got two roots. You got x is equal to 5 plus the root of minus 11 all over 6. or x is equal to 5 minus the root of minus 11 all over 6. Now note well in this case, note well that we got square root of minus 11. Therefore we say the roots or the solutions are unreal, or another word for unreal is imaginary. So the roots in this case is unreal or imaginary because you got square root of a negative number. Alright, we're going to do one more example using the formula. Alright, so here's another example. Let's call this number 3. Solve 2x squared minus x minus 5 equal to 0. Correct to 2 decimal places. Once they say correct to 2 decimal places, or if they say leave answer in third form, it means it will not factorize and you have to use the formula. So first let me write the question down. There's 2x squared minus x minus 5 equal to 0. Therefore a is 2, b is minus 1, c is minus 5. Just in case you forgot, a is the number in front of x squared. So that's a. b is the number in front of x. And c is the constant. So a is the number in front of x squared. b is the number in front of x. And c is the constant or the number itself that's left over. Now if you look at b here, the 1 is understood. That's why b is minus 1. Right, we are now ready to apply the formula. X is equal to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that's minus into b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4 into a into c all over 2 into a. Right. b. What is b? b is minus 1. Plus minus. What is b? b is minus 1. What is a? This is a. a is 2. What is c? c is minus 5. What is a? This is a. a is 2. So you got minus times minus giving you plus. Plus minus the square root of 1. Minus 1 squared is 1. Because minus 1 squared means minus 1 times minus 1, which is plus 1. Now put this part here in the calculator. Minus 4 times 2 times minus 5 will give you plus 40. All over 2 times 2, 4. That gives you 1 plus minus the square root of 41 all over 4. So, now x is equal to 1 plus the square root of 41 all over 4, or x is equal to 1 minus the square root of 41 all over 4. Now you put this into your calculator. And remember the question says correct to 2 decimal places. So you take your calculator and you work this out with the calculator. So it is 1 plus the square root of 41 and you get an answer equal to divided by 4, and the final answer is 1,850. So now correct to 2 decimal places means you must write 3 numbers here and then do the adjustment. So which is 1,850. Because you look at the 0 here to do the adjustment. So the final answer is 1,85. If this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then the number in front of it remains the same. Now to do this part here, you'll take your calculator and you'll tell it 1 minus the square root of 41 is equal to something, and then from there, and then you divide that by 4 and you get minus 1,35, minus 1,350, etc., which is minus 1,35. Because I'm going to look at this 0 to do the adjustment. Because it's less than 5, no adjustment, so it's 1,35. Now you must know how to round off. If you don't know how to round off, you need to go and revise that. You must know how to round off. So this last step here requires your knowledge of rounding off. If you're not sure about rounding off, you need to go and revise that section. So this is what we mean by solving an equation correct to 2 decimal places. Alright, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you a little exercise with 3 examples in it, and you're going to work them out using the formula. Alright, or I'll tell you what, I'll mix the exercise up. You'll have to factorize some and you'll have to use the formula in some. So if it factorizes, you're going to use the factorization. If it can't factorize, then you'll use the formula. Alright, so the exercise will come up shortly. Here we have exercise 3 on quadratic equations. Number 1, x squared plus x minus 42 is equal to 0. Number 2, 3x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. Number 3, x squared minus x is equal to 3. Number 4, 2x squared minus 6x is equal to minus 5. Number 5, 5x squared is equal to 2x plus 3. Number 6, 5 over x minus 7 is equal to x minus 7 over 5. And number 7, x into x plus 7 is equal to 4. Alright, you can stop the DVD here and do the exercise and then come back and we will give you the solutions. Alright, so here are the solutions to exercise 3 on quadratic equations. So if you look at this one here and you try to factorize it, it does factorize. It is x plus 7 into x minus 6. Minus 7 times 6 minus 42 plus 7 minus 6 is plus 1. Yes. So x plus 7 is equal to 0, or x minus 6 is equal to 0, x is equal to minus 7, or x is equal to 6. No need to write x again. So that's number 1. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 was 3x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. So, to factorize this, you're going to try it. It's 3x and x for that. And for minus 8, you got the choice of minus 8 and 1, 8 and minus 1, minus 4 and 2, 4 and minus 2. Now you're looking for a minus 2 in the middle. So you will try them. You'll try them all. I'm not going to try them all. I'm just going to give you the answer now. Because by now you should be smart enough to realize that it is this one here that is going to solve your problem. And if you test it, 3x and x, 4 and minus 2, that gives you plus 4x, that gives you minus 6x, that gives you minus 2x, and you got minus 2x here. So, 3x plus 4 into x minus 2. So 3x plus 4 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. Now 3x is equal to minus 4. Now x is equal to minus 4 over 3. And you could rewrite that as minus 1 and 1/3. And on this side, x is equal to 2. Alright, so those were your answers for number 1 and 2. Alright, so you are given this equation here. It's not in standard form. Firstly, bring it in standard form. And then if you look at this, you get the feeling it cannot factorize. And if you try, you will find that you just cannot find the combinations, you see. If you try x and x, and if you try minus 3 and 1, and 3 and minus 1, none of those, if you try them, how much you like, it will be going to factorize, its own factorize. The other way is, you can work out b squared minus 4ac. What is a? A is 1, b is minus 1, c is minus 3. If you remember, in a previous DVD we showed you that b squared minus 4ac is equal to minus 1 squared minus 4 into a into c. A is 1, c is minus 3. That's 1 plus 12, 13. Not a perfect square. If you remember, we taught you this previously. Instead of battling there, or if you want to be sure, you work out b squared minus 4ac. You got 13. 13 is not a perfect square. Therefore, this will not, it will not factorize. So if it doesn't factorize, I got to use the formula. So minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's minus into minus 1 plus minus the square root of b squared minus 1 squared minus 4 into a into c. A is 1, c is minus 3. All over 2 times a is 1. Minus and minus gives you plus. 1 plus minus the square root of minus 1 squared gives you 1. Minus times minus gives you plus. 4 3 is 12 all over 2. That's 1 plus minus the square root of 13 all over 2. Now let's see, what did the question say? I think it said leave the answer in surd form. They wanted the answer in surd form. Therefore, x is equal to 1 plus root 13 all over 2, or x is equal to 1 minus root 13 all over 2. That's number 3. Alright, we're looking at number 4, 2x squared minus 6x minus 5. Firstly, it's not in standard form. So I've got to bring it to standard form. And now I've got to identify A is 2, B is minus 6, C is 5. Use the formula, minus B plus minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. That's minus into B, which is minus 6, plus minus the square root of B squared, which is minus 6 squared, minus 4 into A into C. A is 2, C is 5, all over 2 times A. A is 2. Minus times minus gives you plus, that is 6, plus minus the square root of 6 squared, 36. Well, minus 6 squared is 36, minus 4 2's 8, 8 5's 40, all over 4. 6 plus minus